Welcome everybody to the channel. My name is Jake, and I'm glad that you're able to join me. And today, we're going to be talking about how you can use the tiny moments in life to create more joy and fulfillment and really big change around you. Like I like to call it the joy multiplier. Now, as a part of that, can we be real for just a moment, just a second, really dive into this? Most people I talk to lately are really tired, kind of exhausted, maybe not physically tired, but soul tired, right? Worn down from the grind of trying to keep everything running, whether that be through work or family or communities, while feeling gosh, part of themselves that maybe once felt alive, creative and energized, just is running on empty day to day. I mean, this could look maybe you're a parent trying to meet everyone else's needs while, yours keep getting pushed aside, or you're the entrepreneur who's lost touch with the spark that once made them, who they were to start their business in the first place. Or maybe you're just the employee who's clocking in and out, watching the days go by, kind of blurring together. If you're any of those, I see you, because actually I've been there myself. A few years back, I burned out really, really hard. I thought joy was something that was it was just earned, right? I kept telling myself hey, once I finish all of this stuff, once the house is calm or business is stable or inbox is clear, then I can relax, then I'll start to feel good. But that day never actually came, and it never will come. The harder I pushed, the further I felt away and disconnected from things. And it wasn't until this quiet but game-changing realization that I had, which was that joy isn't the reward for finishing work. It is actually the fuel for what makes work sustainable and enjoyable. You don't need to wait for life to slow down or to be in that perfect place. You don't need to earn any sort of a delight. You just need to notice it and let it work for you and put it into place. Now, like I said, my name is Jake Talbert. I'm actually the founder of the GIVER method, which is actually a book. It's an Amazon bestseller that's come out. And it has, since launching, has had tons of 5-star reviews. It's helping thousands of people. In fact, looking for as many ways to get it in front of more people as possible. So whether that's you going and buying yourself a copy off Amazon, it's $10. It's the best $10 you can invest in yourself. Or if you or someone has a podcast or a speaking stage that we could be a part of, I would love to come and be able to present in front of as many people as possible to get the message out there. To me, it's not a matter of just selling books, because I make nothing off of people buying the book. It's actually the change and transformation that I love to see people go through as they discover their gifts and superpowers, and they start to live a more fulfilled life because they start living more intentionally as a part of that. So whether you want to get a copy of the book for yourself, or you're interested in having us come be on a podcast or speak on stage, I'll put links in the description for the book, as well as how you can go and maybe set up a call time where we could discuss us being on a podcast or on your stage. Cool? And today, as we dive into this topic, I want to share these 6 actionable steps, practical, principles, really powerful things that are going to help you to discover how the small moments of joy can flip the script on the energy that you have, in your focus, and on how you show up to the people and the projects that matter the most to you. Now, these aren't things that take hours to do. We're talking seconds, things that you can do in the cracks of every day to help you feel more alive, even when life feels really loud or really full. So if you've been feeling you're stuck in that maybe survival mode, and but deep down that there's more inside of you, more creativity, more connection, more just authentic you, then go ahead, hit subscribe, ring the bell for notification on the channel, like the video, comment your thoughts along the way, because I would love to know how people are taking in the concepts and the ideas that we're covering. Cool? So let's dive in, start rolling through each of these things, and like I said, feel free to comment your thoughts along the way. So the first principle is there is a neurological uplift effect, which really is fuel your brain, don't fight your brain. Let me clear up something really, really quick. Joy isn't just fluff. It actually is fuel if you don't believe that. Even the smallest spark of real delight can flip the switch in your brain and change how you think, how you solve problems, and how you bounce back from stress. Here's what's really wild is that when you experience joy, even just for a few seconds, your brain is going to release dopamine, which is going to impact your motivation. It's going to release serotonins, which is going to impact your mood. It's going to increase in oxytocin, which is your connection to what you're doing. This isn't just some good vibes, woo-woo thing that we're talking about. This is actually your brain and how it's wired scientifically. And it's your brain basically being all right, we're ready now. Let's go do the thing. Because it's excited to be a part of that. Now, what makes this even more powerful is joy doesn't like just make you feel good, but it expands mental capacity. Like there's different research out there that shows that when you're in a positive emotional state, you are more creative, you are more focused, and you are way more solution oriented. Meanwhile, the part of your brain that handles things like anxiety or threat response, like it quiets down. Like you're not just calmer, but you're sharper at what you're trying to do. So like that's why the whole like just push through it approach that people have, like it actually backfires. You know, why you have to work through these things. When you're running on fumes and you're trying to hustle your way through to clarity or motivation, your brain's not even in the room for it. Like you're not even in the right place. Like it's in survival mode. But when you pause for that moment of joy, just even for a moment, you start to reset your system. You open the door back up to the momentum that you could be creating. So, here's what you want to do with this. Start by building in a few intentional joy points throughout your day. Like not massive events, just little moments that could shift whatever your state is. Like maybe it's your favorite song that you put on as you open up your laptop. Maybe it's just a 30-second walk outside before a tough conversation, or a laugh with your kids before you step into the chaos of the everyday routine that's going on around you. Like they're not distractions, they're just, you're actually upgrading your daily life. Parents, like when you hear your child laugh, like take a few seconds and really let it land. Like that moment might carry you through the next meltdown. Like entrepreneurs, before you dive into your inbox, like take a beat and picture someone you work with that you've been helping. Like that connection, it changes how you lead. If you're an employee finishing a tough task, like pause and acknowledge like what went well. Like what was the outcome that's really there? The boost gives you more so that you can pour more energy and more authentic you into whatever the next thing is. And if you want proof that works, like track it, pay attention to how your energy shifts as you choose joy before an effort. Like watch how your focus sharpens, how your ideas come faster, how the stress softens. Like it's not magic, it's just biology. And once you see patterns, like it's hard to unsee them. The truth is joy isn't something that you just earn after the hard work and everything. It's what you get because like as you're doing the hard stuff, like it's fun to do hard things. And it's not just a detour from any sort of productivity, it's the ramp that gets you going. So the next time you catch yourself like maybe thinking like, I don't have the time for that, like just remember, you don't have the time to not do it. Like it's just a part of who you are and you can make it so simple. And that leads us into the second idea, the second principle here, which is like this joy inventory that you want to take. Like what lights you up? We need to identify that and then start doing it more. Like we're not great at noticing what actually brings us joy all the time. Like we've been trained to think that it's this big thing, the vacation, the spa day, something that takes hours of planning and the perfect conditions. But most joy that actually fuels us is already happening in the background of everyday life. We just don't see it. We don't acknowledge it. We don't have a way of saying that, hey, there it is for me. Now, that's what this whole idea is about, is paying attention to the things that make you come alive, especially the small, easy to miss stuff that is already happening around you. So you call it this, like I said, just call it the joy inventory. It's nothing fancy. It's a simple way to figure out like what is genuinely going to energize you so that you can start building your day around those moments instead of waiting for some sort of perfect opportunity to come that's never going to actually show up. And so here's how you do it. Like take 5 minutes, like just 5, maybe even just 3, like just give yourself a few minutes and ask yourself like, when did I genuinely feel good this week? Like not kind of me, like, or not awful, like what, I mean, actually felt good. Like what gave you a little lift, a little boost? Like maybe it was that first sip of coffee, when no one else is awake, or the podcast that made you think, or that laugh that your kid let out that cracked you up for just a second. Like whatever it is, write it down, keep a list of it, and then add it. Like anytime something small lights you up, just add to it. And then start catching joy in real time. Like there's these gentle reminders, like maybe put on your phone or a sticky note, or what's happening. Like basically asking yourself, like, is there anything good? Like what's the joy? What's the good thing happening right now? And those little cracks, like these little check-ins, snap you out of autopilot and into more of an awareness mode. And like what you're going to find is that the more you look for it, the more you start to see joy show up. Like it's never been missing. Like you just weren't paying attention. It was going unnoticed for you. Now, once you have a few entries, start looking for patterns. Like, what kind of things light you up the most consistently, on and on? Like, is it sensory stuff like taste or smell? Is it connection and those meaningful conversations or moments of kindness? Or is it progress, like checking something off a list or solving something or wrapping up something that you've been doing? Like is it creativity or dreaming or building? Like, is it making something new? Like, whatever it is, like, that's your joy language. You know, they talked about, like, there are love languages, like there are joy languages that you could have as a part of your life. And once you learn to speak it, everything starts to change for you. So as we talk to, like, the type of people we're working with or that we're getting on stage in front of, or the people who the book is impacting the most, like parents, like, this means, like, you realizing that, you know, 5 unhurried minutes talking to your kids before bed, it, like, brings you more joy than a whole Saturday of shuffling through all the activities you have to do with them. Or for an entrepreneur, maybe it's like, it's not the networking event, it's the quiet moment when your idea lands. Or as an employee, maybe it's that conversation where you helped your teammate see something totally different. Like, not the long list of tasks that crushed you or anything like that. This matters. Like, this thing is this principle, this idea. Like, it's so important because most of us are chasing someone else's version of what joy should look like. You know, we're checking the boxes that don't actually light us up in any way, and then we wonder why we still feel tired or disconnected or flat. Like, so this inventory of joy helps you to stop waiting for big stuff and start noticing stuff that's already working. It shifts your focus from, like, hey, more, I'll do more, or it'll be better, or later I'll do that, to, like, well, what's already good? And how do I get more of that today? Like, we're not adding more to your plate, we're just spotting what's already there and reclaiming it and using it for fuel. That's going to lead us into the third thing, which is, like, you know, there's this, you know, savoring expansion, you know, which is really, like, how to make the good stuff last longer. Because let's be honest, like, we're not bad at feeling joy. Like, we're just bad at, you know, holding on to it. Like, once we find it and we know what it is and you can recognize it through the inventory, it's like, well, cool. It's like, well, now how do I make it last longer? That quick laugh, that proud moment, that spark of delight, like, it hits and then it's gone because we're already on to our next thing. The problem isn't the moments aren't happening. The problem is, like, when we do notice them and start to take them in, like, they're flying past so fast that we don't get a chance to let them sink in and really experience them, which means you're leaving a ton of energy and motivation and mental resilience on the table every single day. So this is all about, like, changing that, you know? And so it's this, like, that idea of, like, how am I going to savor my meal? Well, how am I savoring the joy, and how do I expand how much I savor that joy? Basically, how can I get more mileage out of the joy that I am already experiencing without needing more time or more energy? Now, the science behind it is that when you pause and really soak in a good moment for 10 to 15 seconds, your brain lights up so much more. Like, the reward centers in your brain activate, and all the feel-good chemicals we talked about before, like, flood your system. And there's this, like, afterglow as a part of that. It sticks around so much longer. It could stick around for more minutes, more hours, even throughout the rest of the day. You don't need a new life to feel better. You just need to experience the one you have and go a little bit deeper in what it is. So how do we do this? Like, you know, you don't want to force anything, but just pick a joy moment that's already happening. You know, your favorite song is playing in the car, your kid's being goofy and laughing, you know, task is finally done, that first sip of coffee or whatever it may be. Like, instead of rushing past it, expand on it. So, like, first thing you want to do is notice it. So, like, the simplest step is just, like, it's sometimes the hardest. You're multitasking, you're going through it, and it's like you don't actually pause and go, hey, this is a good moment. I'm having fun with this thing. And then the second thing is, like, feel it. So get your as much of your senses involved. Like, so as you're experiencing that joy, like, okay, well, what do you see? And what do you hear? What do you feel? What do you taste? What do you smell? Like, the more of your body that you bring online and anchored into that joy, oh my gosh, like, the more that joy is going to expand. You know, it could be the warmth of the mug as you're holding it, or your kid's hand, you know, how it fits in yours. It could be one quiet, like, satisfaction of crossing something off your list. And then once you've done that, once you've taken in all the sensories behind it, lock it in. Like, just take a breath and acknowledge it. Like, man, this feels good. This matters. This is why I do what I do. And that simple note helps your brain, like, encode the experience, not just pass through it, so that it sticks. Like, it's not about forcing joy or faking gratitude. It's about stretching the joy that's already happening. You know, so taking the 5 seconds taking a moment and making it last for 5 seconds, or turning it into a 10 second, 15 second, 20 seconds that actually refuels you beyond that. It matters because like your brain has a bias towards problems. It looks for those. Like, that's just how we are. We're wired for that. And it automatically gives more airtime to what's wrong than what's right. But when you start savoring what's good, you rewrite that. You actually are telling your brain, like, suddenly, like, hey, I want you to scan, like, not for the stress or the anxiety. I want you to scan for the satisfaction. And it completely flips things for you. If you're exhausted, stuck in the grind, or wondering, like, when's life going to feel light again? Like, don't wait for the big wins. Stretch the little wins you have and let them breathe and let them land. The joy doesn't need to be louder. You just can make it last longer. Now, we're halfway through. So, want to check in. How are we doing? Where are we at? Like I said, leave a comment along the way. We'd love to know what you're thinking as we move into these last 3 items. So, the fourth one, think about it for like purpose-aligned joy activation. So make it matter before you start. One of the biggest, one of the biggest energy leaks I see in the lives of really busy people is that they're just going through the motions day after day, doing the tasks that feel like they don't actually matter. They just so they can earn the right to feel better later. And that might feel familiar to you. Like whether it's just folding laundry, sitting through another meeting, dealing with a client, administrative item, handling school paperwork, like it can feel like your day is packed full of things that you're just trying to get through. And energy goes, like the energy bleeds out at that point, but nothing really fills you back up as a part of that. And that builds up over time until the whole day starts to feel like one long, like low grade drain on yourself. And so what you want to do is you start to shift that. Like, what if instead of dragging yourself through those tasks, you learn how to flip them to something that actually gives you back energy? Like, that's why this idea of like, how do I create purpose-aligned joy activation in my day? So it's a 2-part practice that helps you to bring joy and meaning into the most draining responsibilities, not by adding more to your plate, but by just changing the way you approach what you're already working on. So before you jump into a task, you usually would dread, like, pause for maybe 30 seconds, 60 seconds. First remind yourself, like, why this task matters. What does this connect to something I care about? Is it contributing to my family's sense of peace? Is it helping my team run smoother? Is it supporting my long-term goals? Even a routine task can mean something when you connect it to something deeper. Cleaning up the kitchen at night might not be thrilling, but if it's creating a calm for your family, like, it's no longer cleaning, you're anchoring your home. That email might feel annoying, but if it helps the client feel seen, gosh, that's a service. And then follow it up with like some sort of mini joy, like, hit. So just 60 to 90 seconds of something that lifts you up. So if you've done something that's draining, or you feel drained and you can't, you're trying to find the why behind it. Like, once you've done that thing, like, go build yourself back up. Could be putting on some music, could be a photo that makes you smile, could be a quick walk, your favorite quote, a text, exchange with someone who energizes you. Like, you're just you're basically priming your brain with something positive before you dive in, before you go to whatever the next thing is, and it starts to change things for you. This isn't any sort of fluff or, like I said, woo-woo things. This is all backed by science, because it shows that people who connect a task with their values and start with a dose of some sort of positive emotion perform better, they feel less drained, and they actually enjoy whatever it is that they're doing, the process of it, more. You make better decisions at that point. You stay more focused. You recover from any sort of stress or anxiety even faster. And you don't need to do this with everything. Just start with maybe your top 2 to 3 tasks that would normally just pull the energy out of you the most. Maybe it's your inbox, maybe it's your cleaning routine, maybe it's that client administration stuff that you have to do. Like, just try this 2-step activation. Connect it to a purpose, layer in some joy, and then just start to see what changes for you. Because when, like, we've been sold this idea that the joy will come after the work, but the joy is what makes the work way more sustainable. It's not the reward, it's a resource, and it's meaning, and that becomes the fuel that turns the mundane into movement. And when you line up your work with what you value, you lead with more of that spark of joy in you. You don't just get more done. You show up completely differently. You feel different. You create an impact with way less effort, and slowly that grind becomes growth. And so the next time you feel that dread creeping in, like before you jump into the task, like, or maybe it's a task you put off, just try it. Try this 2-step approach as a part of that. Now, in our fifth one, the fifth principle is, or strategy, it's about creating the anchor for your joy. Like, what is the anchor, or what's the way that you remind yourself and anchor? What's the ritual you would do to get yourself back into it? Because let's be real, on most days, joy feels maybe random. It's the timing is right. Like, the kids are cooperating, work's calm. We catch that moment that lifts us up. But most of the time, like, we're just trying to keep up. And that's really the problem, that joy is left to chance. It disappears exactly like when you're going to maybe need it the most. So that's where you start to shift things. Instead of waiting for joy to show up, you schedule it, as a ritual, not a reward. It's this ritual, like joy ritual, that never gets canceled. Like, it's a tiny moment built into the flow of your day that guarantees at least a baseline of some sort of joy and satisfaction, no matter how chaotic things get. Now, like I said, you're not overhauling your schedule. You're picking 2 to 3 natural transitions in your day, those little pause points where one thing ends and another thing begins. Like, so think like right when you wake up, right when you sit down at your desk, before you walk in the door at home, as you're winding down before bed, as you're driving to your car, whatever it is, like, and then like attach something small that brings you joy to those moments. Like, not aspirational joy, but real joy, like the kind that takes less than a few minutes, 30 seconds to maybe 2 minutes at most, and so this could be like sipping your favorite drink in the morning while you're watching the sunrise. It could be looking at a photo that reminds you of why you do what you do, listening to a song that never fails to lift your mood, or simply sitting still for a few minutes and letting your breath slow down and just like being present and letting your senses take things in the morning. It could be a morning joy anchor that you have where it's like said that as the coffee brews, you sit at the same spot every day and you play that one song that centers you or fires you up. Like, could be that you have a midday, like workday transition anchor, like before that first email, you take 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 90 seconds to scroll through client testimonials or photos of your family, like the things that remind you of why your work matters. Or let's think about it like as you're winding down your day at the end of the day in the evening, like after you brush your teeth, like maybe you've got that moment where you just pause and breathe and think. Maybe it's some warm tea after dinner, where you write down one good thing from your day, no matter how small it was. Like, whatever you choose, make it easy and repeatable, and make it authentically yours. Don't just hope you'll remember. Set yourself up for a win. Like, put it on a calendar, put it a sticky note at your desk, like put it on your phone as a reminder, like prompts and things like that. Like, pause and delight. Like, just how do I keep myself happy in these moments? Like, these cues reduce mental friction and make your joy rituals more sustainable, even when your tank is low. That ritual, like creating it as a ritual, ritualizing your joy isn't about adding anything more. It's just protecting the moments that restore you and create the foundation, like taking I'm taking my emotional vitamins, So that joy isn't just a surprise bonus that comes when things are right. It's part of the daily rhythm that I'm already doing. And the best part is that when you show up as yourself, in your best self in these sort of ways, like inconsistently, like you start to feel a subtle shift of power come to you. Like, you handled the chaos better. Your baseline mood goes up. You stop feeling like you're chasing life and start feeling like you're actually living day to day within it. And so ask yourself, like, where in your day could you insert a guaranteed drop of joy, no matter what else is going on? And then protect it like crazy. Practice it. Repeat it until the joy isn't something that you stumble upon. It's built into the bones of every part of your day. And so that leads us to the sixth and final principle, which is this joy, how we create a joy compounding system, like how you stack joy until it changes everything for you. So let me ask you something. When was the last time you felt joy like more than it just being a nice surprise? Like, not a lucky break when everything aligned, but something that stuck around and just carried you. And most of us think of joy as those moments as a moment, not a muscle. We wait for it, we hope for it, we rarely train for it. And that's where this final principle flips everything. Like, joy isn't just an experience, it is a capacity, it's a muscle that we can develop. And it's like capacity in any way, it grows with consistency. So this joy stacking system is a simple way to build your joy over time until it starts compounding and reshaping how you feel, how you show up, and how you actually lead in life. Like, it isn't about chasing the mountaintop moments. It's about making the small and intentional practices that just stack up day after day until joy becomes less of a guest and more of a lifestyle that you have. And so what that looks like in real life is like, start by picking what's your bare minimum baseline. You know, what are the few things that you can do daily, rain or shine, tired, energized, good day, bad day, whatever. Like, think of what's the 3-minute song that never fails to lift you up. What's the walk around the block to take a deep breath, the 30-second like checkpoint like we talked about, like of what's your joy, anchor around lunchtime, where you pause and ask yourself, like, what's the one good thing I've noticed today? Like, the magic isn't in the size of the joy in any way. It's in the rhythm of it. The different like neuroscience out there shows that your brain actually starts rewiring itself when you experience joy regularly, not randomly. And over time, the tiny practices start ending up, and you're going to think more creative. You're going to bounce back faster. You're going to make better decisions. Like, that baseline you have gets better and better. It's not having like, stop feeling that like I've got nothing left, kind of days. Like, that's not a problem. Like, that shouldn't be a problem. That's why we build these joy practices in, the stuff that you can do even when you're on empty. Maybe it's the 3 deep breaths with your eyes closed, or pulling up a photo that reminds you, what you're fighting for. Like, that counts. Like, be consistent. Like, being consistent with this is going to beat the intensity of it every single time. And if you really want to stick with it, then don't do it alone. Like, text a friend, like, hey, I'm trying to build some daily joy practices. Like, want to check in with me every so often? Want to check in with me daily, weekly, whatever, and hold each other to it? Post, comment somewhere where it's visible. Like, when joy becomes a shared value, like, instead of some sort of a solo project, like, it gets so much stronger. And here's the bottom line, like, if you don't make joy regular practice, like, it will always feel like a luxury you can't afford. But when you do make it a regular practice, when you build it in and you keep it going, it becomes a source of fuel for all of your creativity and your groundedness that nothing else could replicate in any sort of a way. So that's why we stack it in that sort of a way. Now, here's what I want you to take away from all this. Like, once again, joy isn't something you're going to earn because you've checked all the boxes, you've done all the things. It's not a prize that shows up at the end of your long to-do list. It is actually a fuel. It is a strategy. It is a muscle. It is how you access your best self while you're in the thick of life, not after everything is going to settle down. Like, I've lived with the version of joy where joy comes last. I pushed, I hustled, I waited for life to calm down, and looking for that chance to breathe and feel good again. And it never comes. It won't. Because I hadn't made space for it. You haven't made space for it. But when you start building in the small and honest moments with joy right where you are, like when I did that, I built it right where I was. That's when it changed everything for me. I showed up differently for work, for family, for myself. Like, I've seen the same shift in people that I've worked with, that I've seen go through the book, that we've done stage presentations for. I've seen entrepreneurs slash their hours in half and double like creativity output that they have because they stop grinding and start using joy as their compass. So here's your next step. Like, don't try to do it all. Like, that's just going to add to your plate. You're going to get overwhelmed. Like, pick just one principle, one thing that landed for you. Whether it's joy anchors or 20 seconds to savor the moment or whatever. Like, whatever it is, just start it. Start small, start today, and let that one practice start to stack and grow. Build the muscle. You'll know it's working when you catch yourself smiling during something that used to drain you. When you end your day with more left in your tank than you expected. When the world doesn't feel quite so heavy. When that's when you know. This isn't just about feeling better. It's about living better, living a more fulfilled life. Now, if this hits for you, if this is something that really resonates with you, then once again, that's where I'd say, like, either go grab a copy of the GIVER method. I'll put the link in the description. Or I would love to be a part of a podcast or on a stage where I can be in front of more parents, entrepreneurs, the employees, anyone who's feeling stuck and overwhelmed and they're trying to get past that. Like, either way, I'll put links to those things down in the description, as well as where you can find us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, all those places, as well as thegivermethod.com. Would love for you to go take advantage of the book, the free resources, or see ways that I could benefit your community as well. If this video sparked anything for you, hit the like button, hit subscribe. Once again, we've got more videos coming out all the time that cover each of these things and help to make this all more sustainable. Drop a comment, let me know which of these things hit home for you, because I'd love to know what you're taking away from it. with that, I'll just say until next time, remember, joy, it's not break from the work, it's what's going to make the work even more possible. And the tiniest bit of delight that you can start to bake into your life, that might just be the start of something really big that shifts everything for you. And with that, I'll tell you to have a great rest of your day, and we will catch you in our next video. Have a good one.